So in this section, we're going to concentrate on the chat function inside our activities. And what we want to do is when somebody clicks on add reply, we obviously want our local browser to update with the new comment. But we also want this to update for anybody else anywhere who is also connected to this particular activity to also receive that comment the moment that it's sent from this particular client. And the way that we can do this is by using SignalR. And that's what we'll set up and configure in this particular section. So in order to achieve this functionality, we'll set things up pretty much how we've been setting everything else up. We're going to have a domain entity for our comments. We'll add them as a collection to our activity because each activity can have many comments. And then we'll also create a handler for our comments as well. And all that part is going to stay exactly the same. So let's set this part up first. And in our domain project, let's create a new C# class. And we'll just call this one comment. And our comment is just going to have the normal properties. We'll use a GUID for the ID. Although we'll actually be creating this on the server, so we'll let the server create this. And then we'll have a string for the body of the comment. And then we'll have the author of the comment, and this will be an app user. So we'll call it author of type of app user. And then we'll have the activity the comment is related to. And we'll call it activity. And we'll also have the date time the comment was created at. And because we're using lazy loading for our related entities, what we'll do is we'll make these virtual properties for the author and for the activity as well. And what we'll need to do then is add the corresponding collection into our activity entity, because each activity is going to have a collection of comments. So let's go back and go to our activity entity. And what we'll do is we'll just add another prop in here of type I collection. And it's going to be a comment. And we'll call it comments. And we'll make this a virtual property as well, so that we get our lazy loading functionality. And what we also need to do is add this to our data context. So we'll open up the data context and we'll just create a new DB set in here, and we'll say prop DB set of type comments, and we'll call it comments. And now we have our entity. Let's go and create our new migrations. We'll just go back to the terminal session where the API is running, and as always we'll need to shut this down in order to run the migration command. And I'll just cd up to the reactivities folder, and then we'll say .NET EF migrations add, and we'll just say added comment entity, and then we'll specify the persistence project and the startup project as well, and press return. And this should go ahead and successfully create our migration. And once this is completed successfully, let's just double check to make sure everything is in order inside the migration. So I'll just open this, and we can see what we're doing here is we're creating a new table for our comments, and it's automatically adding in the comment or the author ID and the activity ID, and it's using these as foreign keys inside this particular table. So this all looks good, and what we can do then is just simply restart our application, and this migration will be applied. So I'll just do a .NET watch run and press return, and this will apply that particular migration. So what we'll do next is we'll create a DTO for this, because we don't want to send back the app user and full activity with each comment. So what we'll do next is we'll create a comment DTO and a mapping for that as well, and we'll take a look at that next.